You smiled at a stranger today, maybe in a coffee shop, maybe on the street, and without thinking, you decided they were probably fine, but you know nothing about them. Zero evidence. And yet something made that call in under a second. That instinct feels natural, but the real reason it exists is far stranger than you think. Here is what nobody tells you. Your brain was not built for the world you live in. It was built for a world that vanished thousands of years ago, a world where there were no strangers. For the vast majority of human history, you would have spent your entire life surrounded by the same 50 to 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar studied hunter-gatherer societies across continents and found the same number everywhere, around 150. This is now called Dunbar's number, and it is burned into your biology. In that world, every face you saw was a face you knew. And if you ever encountered someone you did not recognize, that was not a neutral event. That was a red alert. Strangers meant competition. Competition often meant violence. So your ancient brain built a rule. Known face equals safe. Unknown face equals threat. Now fast forward to today. You ride an elevator with a stranger. You walk past hundreds of unknown faces on the way to work. Your ancient brain should be screaming, but it is not. Why? Because somewhere along the way the rules shifted. Around 10,000 years ago, humans began farming, building settlements, trading with neighboring villages. And for the first time, survival required trusting people outside your original group. The bands that could do this thrived. The ones that couldn't were outcompeted and absorbed. Evolution, over thousands of generations, began selecting for a brain that could extend provisional trust to strangers. Not blind trust, provisional trust. Fast, intuitive, based on visible signals. And researcher Alex Todorov at Princeton showed exactly how fast that process runs. He flashed photographs of strangers' faces for just 1/10 of a second, barely enough to register, and asked participants to rate their trustworthiness. The judgments were consistent across every participant, and those same snap judgments predicted real outcomes. Candidates rated as more competent looking in photos won political elections at a rate far above chance. Your brain is not making a careful assessment. It is running an ancient pattern recognition program, scanning for signals your ancestors used for thousands of years. Facial symmetry, warm eye contact, expressions that suggest honest intent. The problem is those signals can be faked. Con artists know this. Charismatic fraudsters have always known this. Bernie Madoff was described as warm, calm, instantly trustworthy. People handed him their life savings based on a feeling. Your pattern recognition brain looked at his face and said, known, safe, ally. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux mapped what happens inside the brain during these moments. The assessment of a stranger's face is processed by the amygdala, fast, primitive, before the information even reaches your prefrontal cortex, the part that can actually reason. You have already decided whether to trust someone before you have consciously thought anything at all. The trust response arrives first. The reasoning arrives second. And most of the time, the reasoning just confirms what the amygdala already decided. Studies show that humans perform barely better than chance when trying to detect whether a stranger is lying. That gut feeling of certainty is not accuracy, it is confidence. Those are not the same thing. So why does it still feel reliable? Because you remember the times you were right. The stranger who gave you directions and turned out to be genuinely helpful. The new colleague who seemed warm and actually became a real friend. The hits are memorable. The misses get explained away. That person who fooled you was a skilled manipulator. Your instinct was fine. You were just deceived. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. You remember the hits, you explain away the misses, and your confidence in your own judgment stays intact no matter what. Here is the strange truth. The trust you extend to strangers today is not really about those strangers. It is the biological residue of 10,000 years of cooperative civilization, layered on top of 200,000 years of small group living, running inside a brain that has not fundamentally changed in all that time. When you smile at someone and decide they seem fine, you are not making a rational call. You are executing a program written long before you were born, tuned for a world that no longer exists. And that stranger you trusted this morning? You still know almost nothing about them. You decided they were safe in under a second, and somewhere in your ancient, cooperative, beautifully imperfect brain, that decision felt completely obvious, just like it did for every human who came before you.